and welcome back to the Tilted Crown Gourmet. During today's episode, we're going to be making one of the signature dishes of Thailand called Pad Krapao Moo. Yes, it does actually go up at the end for the word pork. Anyway, it's stir-fried holy basil and pork. Now, not only can this dish be found as a common street food, but it also will be found in some of the best dining establishments in the country. Traditionally, this is a very spicy dish. Nevertheless, if you can't deal with spice, either cut the number of peppers, cut the peppers and remove the seeds, remove the peppers, maybe use some red chili flakes instead, and you can kind of make it as spicy or not as spicy as you choose to make it. Also, you don't have to use pork. If you don't eat pork, you can use duck, you can use chicken, you can use beef, and yes, you can even use tofu. So, let's get some prep done and let's get cooking. Now you take 50 grams of oyster sauce, 25 grams of coconut sugar. If you don't have that, use a 50-50 mix of white and brown sugar, 25 grams of soy sauce, 25 grams of fish sauce, and 50 grams of beef stock. Whisk it together and set aside for later. Next, you will thinly slice a shallot. Thinly slice some garlic. If you run it through a garlic press, it has a tendency to burn, so I would recommend to thinly slice your garlic. I had some pork chops, so I cut the meat off the bone. I then get it and cut it into approximately 1-inch strips. And then I use my meat cleaver and I dice it up. I recommend doing this versus getting ground pork because you can better control the thickness of your ground, and you can also choose the cut of meat that you're putting in your dish. At no point has the butcher said, let's get the best cuts of meat and grind them up. Next, we're gonna chiffonade an entire bunch of basil. So the basil that you get from the grocery store, get the entire bunch and chiffonade the entire thing. What I do is I run my knife through in one direction and then turn it and run it through in the opposite direction. So you can cut up the long strands to shorter strands where it's more like a dice. If you can find holy basil, that's great. If not, standard Italian basil works, or even Thai basil. I use 2 chilies in this dish with the seeds. However, you have to decide the level of heat that you want. You generally would use Thai bird chili or Holland chilies for this recipe. I couldn't find them. I had serranos, so that's what I used. Add approximately 3 tablespoons of oil to your wok or your frying pan. I happen to have some leftover bacon drippings, so I use that. And over a medium-high heat, brown your pork. Add your peppers, your shallots, and stir, and then cook for approximately 1 to 2 minutes. Then you're going to add your garlic and stir that in and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. At that point, you're going to deglaze your pan with half of the sauce that we made earlier and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. Then you're going to add the rest of your sauce and mix it in and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. At that point, you're going to turn off the heat and fold in your basil, then set it aside. This dish is traditionally served with a fried egg with a soft yolk on top. However, make sure that the whites are cooked completely through. bon appetit, or should I say chok di cup?